Hi guys, so today is Thursday. Yeah, it is Thursday. And it's a rainy day again. We were hoping for some sunshine, but it's raining, but that doesn't stop us from having a good day. So, yeah, I'll get on to the book review. So I'm reviewing this book. How Full is Your Bucket by Tom Rath um, and Donald O'Clifton. So this guy called Donald is actually the grandfather of Tom. So this is a book written by a grandmother, grandfather, and a grandson. So the grandfather started the book, and then the grandson the grandson finished the book. So that was quite interesting to read. And it's an amazing book so far. So I'll go ahead and just summarize what the book says. So the book was written by Don Clifton, obviously, and Don Clifton was a teacher. No, yeah, I think he was a teacher or a professor of psychology in the University of Nebraska. And he discovered that there was a major problem with psychology because it focused on what was wrong with people rather than what was right with people. So over the 5 decades, Don and colleagues just conducted millions of interviews focusing on positive instead of negative. During the research, he discovered that our lives are shaped by our interaction with others, and the result of these interactions were rarely neutral. So these interactions were basically positive or negative, and it profoundly affected our lives. So in his work was later on recognized by the Psychological Association of America, and he was cited as the father of positive psychology. So that was just the background of the book. So I'll dip into the first chapter of the book. And basically what the first chapter says, I'll just open up the book so that I can sort of show you what the first of all, I'll just show you the content of the book. So that's the content. So yeah, so the chapter 1 is negativity kills. So I'll go into what chapter 1 says and the examples that were given there. So the example was with the North Korean war, where the American soldiers were prisoners, and where the North Koreans used psychological tactics to break down the American soldiers, and basically they didn't have to kill them. All they did was to apply these tactics to kill them. Really, psychological warfare, basically. There's this doctor called Dr. William E. Mayer, and he conducted a study of 1,000 American soldiers, and this is what he came up with. He came up with 5 tactics that the used to break down the group. So one of the tactics was to reward those who told tales on each other. So they rewarded the snitchers but with cigarettes. So if you went to them and told them of what the group was doing, or any other information any other information that sort of told what was going on with the group, then they would reward them with cigarettes. The other one was self-criticism. So how they did this was by gathering the group and encouraging them to basically say the bad things that they've done, and to share how horrible they've been, and how they've killed their own colleagues or whatever, or how they didn't help them. So basically that's just self-criticism, and that's how it worked. And then the other tactic they used was breaking loyalty of the group, of the leadership and country. So the way they did this was by taking out the leader, and then slowly and relentlessly undermining that soldier who was the leader. Hi. So, sorry, I'm just doing a review of a book. So you've just joined in as I was in the middle of it. So I'll just continue. You can just go back and watch the video from the beginning once I post it. So yeah, welcome to the book review. So yeah, I'll just continue on with what I was saying. So how they did this was by breaking the loyalty of leadership and country, and slowly and relentlessly undermining a soldier's allegiance to his superior. So basically, they encourage them to disrespect their own country and to disrespect the leaders that they had among themselves. So that's one of the tactics they used to break this group down. And the other one was to withhold all positive emotional support. So what these soldiers, what the North Korean did was to withhold all the letters that had good news. So they withheld the letters from home that had good news about what was happening at home. For example, if there was a birth at home, if maybe there was a good thing that had happened back at home in the country or whatever, they would withhold these letters, and then they will let only the letters containing the bad news to go through. So basically that's how they did it, to just break them down, to break down their spirit. And then the other one was psychological isolation. So, sorry, I think this is the last. Sorry, I got distracted there. But yeah, I think that was the last tactic that the North Korean soldiers used to break down the group. So basically allowing letters of tragedies and death, and withholding any good information at all. So this broke them down. This made them feel hopeless. So yeah, I'll just summarize basically what the book says, and what the point of the book is. So what the book says is that everyone have an invisible bucket, and they are at their worst when this bucket is empty, and then everyone has an invisible dipper. So a dipper is like an old-fashioned way of describing a spoon scoop, for example. Remember, this book was written in 1960, so obviously it's old-fashioned, and the language is a bit old-fashioned, so I'll have to sort of research and find out what some of these things mean, because obviously they use an old-fashioned names. But anyway, what the book says is that everyone has an invisible, like, sort of a spoon where you sort of scoop and you scoop from others people's lives, and you scoop to gain, if that makes sense. So it will make sense once we continue on with the book. So far, this is what I've understood. So and then the other point is that we fill other people's bucket when we feel our own. So basically what the argument is here is that when we build other people's lives, then we are building our own. When we do good things to other people, then we are doing that to ourselves as well. So basically it's like what goes around comes back around, sort of a scenario. So yeah, so it will take me some time to finish the whole book. I've already finished the first chapter. So what I've come up with is that we need to feel our lives first. We need not to get distracted by things and just focus on filling our bucket first before we try and fill other people's bucket. So yeah, so it's an amazing book. I can't wait to read the whole of it. It's really interesting, and it sort of makes sense to me because we are all affected by negativity, and once you have an interaction with someone who is negative, you just feel down, you just feel negative. So yeah, I can't wait to read the other chapters. So I'll read the second chapter and then summarize it. So if you really enjoyed this and if you'd like to hear more, please let me know. I'll get going now. Have a lovely day, guys, and thank you for joining me. Bye.